It is Thursday, May 2nd. We're going to take a look at what was included and what was left out of the state's $7 billion budget for 2014. And a software developed by Oklahomans catches the eye of astronauts. But first, we're going to talk about an arrest in a 21-year-old cold case. And here to tell me more about that, local assistant editor Nick Tragakis, business editor Don Mikoy. Fellas, thanks so much for your time today. Talk about some of the stories that'll be on newsok.com and in the Oklahoman tomorrow. First of all, Nick, this cold case, what led investigators to the suspect?
Well, this is, he actually kind of led himself to investigators. It's a 1992 cold case where a woman, her daughter, and the woman's sister-in-law went missing. They couldn't find them. A man came to police and said he thought he knew where the bodies were, led them to the bodies. They found them buried in a field. And since then, now this man has been arrested. His name is Grover Pruitt Jr., and he's been charged today in Bristow with accessory after the fact of a murder. They think that he knows who did it, and they think that he was misleading them as they tried to investigate the case as well. So he's going to have a lengthy legal fight that he'll be facing here. And the police are continuing to investigate. They're saying now that this is going to be considered a triple homicide investigation. Wow,
interesting stuff. The Oklahoman's Nolan Clay is working on that story. One that the Oklahoman's Michael McNutt is working on is at the Capitol. Governor Mary Fallin and legislative leaders released the details surrounding a $7 billion budget for the 2014 year. What's included in this deal? What was left out?
Well, the big takeaways are the agreement announced by the legislative leaders today. There will be no raises across the board for state employees. Public education will have a $74 million boost compared to last year's budget. And the Corrections Department, which got into a little bit of trouble with the governor recently with the way they were keeping their finances, will have no new money in their budget compared to last year. And I know they had been one of the agencies that had been looking for more money to help with their overcrowding problems in prisons. And another thing that's notable about the agreement is that it's been reached pretty early here in the session. And the word is that it could actually allow legislators to adjourn a week early this year.
Interesting. Michael McNutt will be taking a look at that. And speaking of that, Don, you're going to talk about an eye test in space. I'm loving the graphic over here. Oklahoman optometrists have developed software for NASA, and they're seeing some positive feedback in their digital eye exam. Why is this program important for astronauts?
Well, it turns out when you spend a lot of time in space, it can affect your eyes. About 20% of astronauts have a problem with their sight, and for some of them, the changes that they experience are permanent. A lot of times they become farsighted. So NASA was looking for a program. Turns out these two guys in Oklahoma had developed such a program. They found each other. NASA bought the program. It allows you to do an old-fashioned eye test with a laptop, and has some other aspects to it that really work well for NASA. So they're going to be testing these astronauts. They started last month with this software to test astronauts while they're in space so they can track exactly what sort of changes they're seeing and how quickly this happens and if there's anything they can do about it.
It's a story the Oklahoman's Paula Burks is working on. You can find that in the business section of tomorrow's Oklahoman. Fellas, thanks so much for your time. Again, these stories in the Oklahoman tomorrow and online at newsok.com.